In Pushpa's house, the sound of auspicious instrument could be heard melodiously. In the house there was very cheerful atmosphere. Bride Sneha and groom Abhilash looked like a couple made for each other. Sneha was very happy holding Abhilash's hand. But as the days went by, there was a feeling of disparity between Sneha and Abhilash. While Sneha is an intelligent girl from a modern family, Abhilash's family is from a traditional background. Even though Abhilash was an engineer in person, the influences of stupidity were evident in his personality. Sneha still remembers that one day when she was about to go out for a walk with Abhilash as a newlywed, her sister-in-law came there immediately and said, Sneha, you are the new daughter-in-law to this house. You cannot go out until the shastri gives the muhurta or auspicious timing. This is the tradition of this house, she said, glancing at Sneha and Abhilash and striding inside. Sneha was hurt to find that Abhilash, who had listened to her, had also cancelled the outing. Every day something happened. Sneha's mind was protesting all this. But because she was new to that house, she was in control. For every activity, Pushpa would inquire from the Shastri about the timings. Even the family members followed the rituals prescribed by the Shastris without fail. Because of this, uncountable number of Guru Dakshina and Puja Phalas have reached the house of those priests. Gradually, the days rolled by. Sneha understood Abhilash very well. But since his childhood, he was accustomed to the traditional stupidity of the house. So he could not get out of that stupid mentality. At the same time, hearing the news that Sneha's legs were swollen, the festive atmosphere of the house turned sour. Immediately, Sneha's mother-in-law Pushpa went to the temple and lit the lamp and offered prayers. On hearing this news, the Shastri arrived at our house with his almanacs. After eating too much, the Shastri put his hands on his huge stomach, which was like a tent, and said, Look, daughter, from now onwards you should be very cautious about your daughter-in-law. She will have to be looked after with special care for the next 9 months. She should not be sent out without seeing the muhurtam or auspicious timing for any reason. A puja must be performed only because nothing more should happen. Shastri said. Which puja, Shastri ji? I am ready to do anything for the new life that is born. Pushpa touched Shastri's feet and bowed. Shastri smiled and was happy from inside that the income for another year had come to him in one go, and said, Look, Pushpaji, your daughter-in-law's legs have swollen just now. Just do Homa so that she can lead her life without any problem for the next 9 months and everything will be fine. How much does it cost, Shastriji? Pushpa asked. More or less 5,000 rupees. Bring all the materials needed for Havan. Again, 4 more priests will come along with me, said Shastri. Pushpa came and handed over the money to Shastri and said, Take it, Shastri ji, all further responsibility is left on you. Go home as soon as possible, she said. Don't worry, daughter. Everything will be fine for you, said Shastri, picking up his bag and leaving. Sneha was very sad to see all this. She boldly went to her mother-in-law Pushpa and said, Mother, even in such a scientific age you believe all the Homa and Havans of these Shastris. Is not this superstition? She asked. Look, Sneha, we also know that you are from the modern world, but we have seen the world. It is good that you don't bother with such things anymore, said Pushpa. Sneha was shocked. She decided that it would be useless to explain anything to her mother in law. The mother in law was convinced that it was of no use. After a few days, Shastri came and sat down to do Homa, taking 4 more priests with him. Pushpa received them all with great enthusiasm and bowed to them by touching their feet. Shastriji, will not all problems be solved by performing this Homa? Pushpa asked. Yes, daughter, all will be well, said Shastri. Sneha also had to sit to perform Homa with Abhilash. Seeing Shastri, Sneha's mind began to defy. Also, she started to doubt that she was not able to bring her family members out of the labyrinth of superstition. After the Homa was over, the Shastris left with all their dakshinadis in their sacks. During the night, Sneha tried to counsel Abhilash. Look, Abhilash, this is all nonsense. It is not right to waste all this time and money on Homa, Havan, Puja. Nowadays, it is the doctors who tell whether a child is born healthy or not. These Shastris fill their bellies by getting caught up in the eddies of planetary movements that are nowhere visible to us. No, Sneha, mother or other family members are doing all this for your good. It is a tradition in our house to do all auspicious deeds by asking the Shastris. So it is better for you to remain silent on this issue. Abhilash responded angrily. As time passed, Sneha began to feel helpless. But every time she went to doctor for a checkup, she was relieved to know that everything was fine. After 2 months, one afternoon, the house bell rang. When Pushpa opened the door, there was another Shastri standing at the door who was dressed in saffron, with a bold vibhuti on his forehead and had almanac in his hand. Pushpa saw the Shastri who was waiting to enter and asked, Shastriji, I don't know you. Shastri looked inside the house and said, Danger! A big thorn awaits, daughter. While passing your house, we have received a message from God that a huge thorn is waiting to trouble for a new life coming to this house. It is not good at all. You have to come up with something for that. But Shastriji, day before yesterday only we had performed. Pushpa tried to say something. Don't talk, daughter. Have you heard the name of Pandit Ramanath? I am the same. My words are never false. If you ignore my words, it will be useless. Beware. He pressed. She was shocked to hear all this. Oh, come on, Shastriji, let's do as you say, and invited inside. Seeing and hearing all this, Sneha frowned. She felt that another story was going to happen. Are not all the street goers breaking into houses and robbing in broad daylight on the pretext of worshipping? Is this a travesty? When she was about to say something, Pushpa turned and looking at her, Sneha, bring fruit and milk for the Shastriji, she ordered. Sneha, who was suffering from speechless pain, went inside the kitchen. She didn't know what to do. The Shastri had taken out almanacs and started calculating the planet positions. Is not your daughter-in-law 4 months old now? Daughter? What is daughter-in-law's zodiac sign? Pushpa said. Libra. Great danger awaits my daughter. Something must be done to protect mother and child. Shastri said to Pushpa with a sly smile and continued, if you give some charity, it will be solved. After drinking a lot of milk and eating the fruits, Shastri left from there after receiving 1100 rupees as dakshina. Just then Abhilash came home. He was also relieved after hearing everything. Let it be, mother, even the passers-by care about our householders, said Abhilash. Sneha thought that there is no point in telling him any kind of wisdom on this issue. This is how the day started rolling. What no one knows is that the one who broke into Pushpa's house while walking on the street and started talking in two colors was none other than the disciple of Shastri ji. He knew very well about Sneha and Pushpa's family. Now everyone was relieved that no harm would come. One day Sneha was in the kitchen when she heard the voice of Shastri ji. Sneha was convinced that another process would take place. Sneha was 9 months carrying. Her mother-in-law called the Shastri ji. Sneha was shocked to hear the conversation between her mother-in-law and Shastri. Whoa, is this stupidity? She thought it was such a strange tradition. By showing Sneha's birth chart, the mother-in-law asked Shastri ji, in which auspicious hour will the child be born with genius, talent and long life? Shastri started calculating planets after finding birth chart. Sneha was agitated. Such a superstition, what a whim! Man should not interfere with the laws of nature, she said to herself and became sad. A child being born and coming to earth is a natural process, and an educated person would be shocked to see that the movement of the planets is being blamed on it. Having experienced all this firsthand, Sneha decided to somehow get rid of their stupid tradition. After thinking for a while, she finally came up with a plan and got ready to implement it. She decided to include doctor in her plan because without him her plan would not have happened. Within 2 days, Sneha was going to meet doctor for a checkup. After the examination, she explained all the history of her mother-in-law's desire to the doctor, that she did not like mother-in-law approaching the Shastri for each and everything, and asked the doctor to cooperate with her to avoid that. The doctor listened to all the words of Sneha calmly and said, Sneha, recently every section of the society has become a habit of giving birth to a child by performing an operation. Even this process, which was supposed to be completely natural, has been attached to the brand of pundits. In some emergency cases, caesarean delivery is required. But some nursing homes, in collaboration with shastris, are also providing caesarean delivery on time when people ask for money. But don't worry, I am with you, he said. Sneha came out of the doctor's cabin. She was relieved that her child would no longer be a victim of superstition. As she was coming out, Sneha's mother-in-law asked, what did the senior nurse do? What were they checking? Sneha did not answer her question but kept a smart silence. After her daughter-in-law completed 9 months, she took Sneha and reached the nursing home exactly at the time specified by the Shastri. The doctor, who carried out a routine checkup, said, admit her immediately, her blood pressure is rising gradually. But doctor, the prospect of tomorrow is very special. Anyway, see to it that the baby is born tomorrow. What is the cost? I am willing to pay. Overall, only the child should be born properly in the auspicious timing, said Pushpa. Madam, have you gone mad? Don't you understand? Here the blood pressure of the patient is high, and you are telling the story of auspicious timing. Let her condition be normal first, then we will see. My patient's life is more important to me than your business, said the doctor angrily. Humiliated, Pushpa sat down in a corner. All the family members started gathering at the nursing home one by one. It seemed that everyone was anxious to see the baby who was probably going to be born in the auspicious timing. But everyone was shocked to know about Sneha's ups and downs in health. At this, Sneha started to smile in her heart because, with the help of the doctor, she had seen progress in achieving her goal. There, Pushpa immediately met Shastri and discussed about her daughter-in-law's health. Shastri was also a staunch opportunist who immediately shook his head and told another Muhurta for the next week, pocketing rupees 501 dakshina easily. Now Pushpa's happiness was indescribable. She was happy thinking that even after a week the operation would be done properly in the auspicious timing or Muhurta. 2 days later, Sneha effortlessly gave birth to a healthy, beautiful baby boy. Pushpa and the whole family were happy to see the first grandchild of their family. But it was not born in the time that they had thought. But the what disaster awaits them in the future, that scared the entire family. Doctor, the Shastris had set the auspicious timing after a week, but the baby was born today, so check the baby carefully and tell if it is healthy or not. I will call the Shastriji right now, said Pushpa in a hesitating manner. Smilingly, doctor said, "What are you talking about? This child was born very naturally and is completely healthy, no need to worry. But only one thing must be told to you. To tell you the truth, even though Sneha is as healthy as a rock, we lied you that her blood pressure was high, so that she could have a natural delivery by avoiding the auspicious timing given by your Shastri. Because we have decided to destroy the superstitions that are ingrained in your minds. See, today Sneha gave birth to a very natural, healthy baby boy. This proves that there is no auspicious or inauspicious hour for the nature. For the time being, Muhurta is nothing but the nonsense used by the Shastris to cook their rice. Sneha herself first decided to fight against superstitions. Therefore, we should congratulate her first, he said. Hearing the doctor's explanation, everyone became silent. The feeling of superstition that had been ingrained in everyone was gone. The lips of all those who envisioned the beautiful days to come burst into tears.